Maybe even myself.
Oh my goodness.
Just what got me started was I did quite a bit of work with the Women's Care Center early on in my life, and really had a heart for the young ladies there, and then I worked over at the Martin Luther King Center and as the housing counselor and then later director there. So I kind of God just kind of led me through some stuff and told me, let's go to school.
Yeah.
So I actually returned. I went to Liberty and I graduated, did my undergraduate and my master's degree through there. And then I worked for Barber National Institute for quite a long time. So, I'm homegrown here.
Yeah, sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
What are your, in your professional world, what are your focuses? Is it family counseling?
I do a lot of family counseling. It's really been my niche throughout the years. I did family counseling through Barber National Institute. And then I kind of moved when I opened my own practice, kind of stuck with that. I do some individual counseling for anxiety, depression.
Sure.
But I do a lot of family counseling.
It's interesting. We're celebrating America 250. Have you been thinking about this for a while?
Well, I'll tell you what, I would say I'm a history buff, and I would say my dad really got me into that when we were kids. He would take us to all the Civil War museums and actually a lot of grave sites, believe it or not, just to go look at makeup. We have makeup stories like, this person was born in 1818. What do you think they went through? And so then we would talk about like the things that they would have like seen and heard and talked about. So it kind of got me very in tune with being in love with American history, especially. Yeah. And then as a people person, obviously that's my heart. And now this year, of course, is our semi-quincentennial here.
I love
America.
that you can say that.
It took me a while.
It doesn't roll off the tongue,
It
does
does not roll off the tongue. But I can do it. I can do it.
So, yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid, I'm old enough to remember I was a early teen. At the bicentennial,
sir.
1976. And that was a big deal. This is a pretty big deal too.
A pretty big deal.
When you think about, a quarter of a millennium, our country has existed.
And we're such babies, though. Like we're still a baby when you think of all of the countries. But it is something definitely worth celebrating as a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to celebrate it. I know there's a lot of chatter from all sides of the aisles and in the middle, and a lot of chatter, a lot of dissension and stuff. But I think that if we would step back and we would see the grace that God has given here in this country, and like see each other imago Dei, as through the image of that we are made in the image of God, every single one of us. And if we could step back and really see our fellow Americans, our neighbors, in the way God sees us, we would be a totally different place. But we also need to remember how we got here, how we got here. So
that's where the history informs us. Before we get to the content, let's talk about the process. And so, when did this idea, hey, 250 is coming up? When did that transfer into, hey, I should write a book, and this is what it should be about? So
I was not planning on writing this book. Interestingly enough, I was not planning on writing this book, and I kind of got into a conversation with the editor at Whitaker House, and he says, kind of got a project I wouldn't mind you working on. What do you think about this? And I'm like, sign me up. That's my deal. Sign me up. Let's do this. And actually, that was last year. Like it happened very, very fast. And even with it happening fast, I came up with almost 500.
Did you really?
I had to peel it back quite a lot. Like it was very difficult to, okay, what am I going to stick here in this? And it was quite enjoyable to know for myself that I could actually come up with really that many like beautiful places to go and see, and history of people, just individuals we don't know that much about. Typically, we don't talk about the fascinating stories and even the stories of our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Those stories, all of that stuff just really hit hard with me, and I was like, what a blessing it was to be kind of asked to do this project. Sure. And I was asked to do this project in the middle of, I got married last year.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So I am trying to like be a newlywed and write this book. And it was a very interesting process, but it was fun.
You say the great things in the book can be a place, a person, or a principle. And so when you talk about the you had 500, you had to whittle down, were you just starting to catalog all these kind of cool things that you either were researching or that you remembered or
have a little bit of ADHD? So
okay.
when I started to like think of one thing, I'd be like, oh, what about this and this and this and this and this and this? And so I would take notes, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't talk about all of that.
Yeah.
So you have to whittle it down into what's actually going to flow. And not only, so it goes through sort of in order, sort of.
You kind of start with Jamestown.
Kind of start with, you actually start with a quote from John Winthrop, but the first main thing, "We shall be a city on a hill," is actually the quote that I start with on there. But the next thing I talk about is actually before that, the first Catholic kind of church that kind of settled in Florida with the
St. Augustine,
which I just went down there this year. Totally recommend going to take a trip to St. Augustine. It is absolutely amazing. I got to drink out of Ponce de Leon's Fountain of Youth.
Really?
See how beautiful I am.
There you go. Better than Botox, right?
Better than Botox. So I started off kind of back there, kind of just to give a little bit of a history of, hey, God was a part of this the whole way. He was a part of this the whole way, and we need to step back and remember that.
Have you visited, when you're talking about the places, have you visited most of these places
I've visited most of these places. I have not been to Alaska. I put something in there of about an island in Alaska that's my dream to go see, but it's actually really hard to go see because it doesn't have a lot of transportation to it, so...
What about the concept that you put a word or a hyphenated word in front of each one of these concepts? Where did that come from?
That comes from my counseling background,
okay.
Because I wanted to say something positive of something that we are. We've been getting this onslaught of I don't know if you are on social media at all, but it's pretty rough out there, and there's a lot of condemnation towards our country, even from internally, and that constant condemnation can get us down as a people. We can be very negative, and I wanted to come up with 250 positive words that actually define us, and I could come up with 250 actually quite quickly. Interestingly enough. I think one of my favorite ones is the second one, actually talking about the fort in St. Augustine that's made of coquina and how resilient it is. That's my favorite word for America, actually. Right? Yeah, I had a couple of other radio stations were asking me questions, and I at first had other words, but right now I think it's resilience. I think that we can bounce back. We can bounce back from stuff. With God's grace.
Let's talk about your process. How did you put the book together? How did you bring this all together? What I mean, again, index cards? Were you doing one sheets? Did you have 500 one sheets? You know?
I handwrite everything out.
Do you?
So it definitely came first handwritten out of like lists of what I could put in. I did not have the actual positive words in there first. I actually had like the subjects.
Yeah.
We kind of broke it into, and when I say we, as my husband kind of had a little help in there. It's like transportation, innovations that have been throughout the years. Places that mean something to. I started off with places that mean something to me personally.
Okay.
So I wrote those out first, and so then I'm like, I don't know how to order this thing. I literally don't know how to order. And so I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just kind of do it in the order of time,
kind of a chronological
order. And so that's how it kind of ended up, with places in between and principles in between too. So
the book is 250 Great Things About America. Let's take our first break. Marcie Gourley is with us here. We'll get to some of the content here in a second, but it's just so interesting to see really the breadth, the range of all these really kind of cool, great things about America. Stay with us. It's a book that's going to make you encouraged about America. 250 Great Things About America. Marcie Gourley, local author here. Places, people, and principles worth celebrating. And you did, kind of wave the flag and cheered on some of the local stuff. Can I read?
Absolutely, sure.
Number 128. Impressive is the key word. Before the Great Lakes were engineers of commerce, they were havens of beauty, Presque Isle State Park near Erie, Pennsylvania, offers sandy beaches, ecological diversity, and historical wonder on the shores of Lake Erie, off the northern coast of Wisconsin. Scattered across the waters of Lake Superior, the Apostle Islands offer windswept cliffs, sea caves, dense forests, and pristine beaches. Holding shipwrecks of the high seas from Lake Superior's stormy past, the islands also remain a sanctuary for bald eagles and other wildlife. And here's where this book is super different.
Yeah.
You turn from the facts and the history to this, to the encouragement. Beauty is often found at the edge of endurance. When you find yourself at the edge, look for beauty there, breathe it in, and hold it dear. It is a providential gift, a sea of hope. That really bubbles out of your counseling experience, doesn't it? And just trying to help humans.
Amazingly enough, that actually is the post that my daughter helped post today on my Instagram and Facebook. So,
really?
Yeah, that is the one. And actually, it's one that I speak to myself too, because sometimes I get to the edge of what I can handle, and I need to remember the beauty. You know, sometimes I literally have to go out and to Presque Isle, or this weekend I actually took a trip down to Shenandoah National Park and did a little hike down to find a waterfall. And it's so important to when you are tired, rest and remember that there's so much beauty out there, and we are so blessed in this country to have so many different things to enjoy right here in Erie, Presque Isle.
Yeah.
Gorgeous place to be. I love sitting across and looking in at the city. That was one of my favorite places to be when I'm feeling stressed out. I'll see you later. I'm going to go on the Presque Isle. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I want you to talk about your introduction, because I found it fascinating, and I really I went to my place not as a parent but as a child, going to Niagara Falls. That was a big deal if we went to Niagara Falls. We did it a couple times. That I remember my dad packing up the Impala station wagon and going across the Rainbow Bridge and experiencing the Canadian side of the falls. Talk about what you were trying to convey with that intro.
What I was trying to convey with that intro is, so when my kids were little, we decided to take them up for the 4th of July. And of course that's coming up right now in a couple weeks here. So take note, everybody, if you're planning to go on the 4th of July.
And were you on the New York or Canadian side?
I was on the American side because they were doing the fireworks from the Canadian side for the Americans to enjoy, or whoever was coming. What struck me, so we parked in with that big, there's a very big parking garage very close to the, usually I can park right up front, but on 4th of July you have to park in the parking garage.
Sure.
Or way far away. But we were on the very, very top of that garage, and we came down. It's kind of dingy and dirty, and my kids were like, "Oh, what are we doing here? Like, this is gross." And so we made it across, went into the gift shop there, and they started to get a little more excited, and then we made it across to where the falls are. And they got to play a little bit of soccer. But I was taking in, and it really struck me that I was taking in the diversity of people that were there to celebrate America. I mean, people had come from all over the world, different dialects, different languages. You could just hear it all in order to celebrate our nation on the 4th of July. There at the, and that's why I said at the edge of our country, literally at the edge of our country. And the beauty of that struck me. And then I was looking around and I saw this started to get dark, and the fireworks started, and they started to get to the end of the fireworks, and there was a lot more stuff that happened. So read it.
You got to read the book.
Got to read the book. But this gentleman, he stands up and he puts his hand over his heart during the end of the fireworks, and tears coming out of his eyes. And he had to be 80, maybe 90 years old, like an elderly person. And he just stood there while all of us were sitting there watching the fireworks. And it just made me think, what had he gone through? What had he experienced, in history to get him to the place where he is at the end of his life, watching these fireworks. And it just struck me that I think that we need to celebrate each other as Americans. Mm-hmm.
And so that is a great intro, right? For being able to, really capture, kind of the positivity and really recognize. And when you use a word like resilience, and I was struck by, right at the top, the first word you use is world changing.
World changing. America is. That's what it starts. America is world changing. And for better or for worse, that is absolutely true.
Right?
Absolutely true.
The catalytic moment,
world changing.
the catalytic idea of America is world changing. And again, that second word is resilient. The third word is kind-hearted.
Kind-hearted.
Talking about Jamestown. Fourth, overcomers. And you're talking about, again, the struggle of those early colonies, and humble is your word number 5. And talking about William Bradford. We've got Marcie Gourley is with us. We've got to take our bottom of the hour break. Stay with us. It's Talk Erie. 250 great things about America as we celebrate now just a couple weeks before the big holiday. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live here on this Thursday from our Kingdom Financial Group studio, also on YouTube and on Facebook. Marcie Gourley is with us. It's 250 Great Things About America, the new book, Places, People, and Principles Worth Celebrating. Marcie, this would be a handy gift on a Father's Day. Where can we get this locally here?
Well, locally here, hopefully at Barnes & Noble still.
Okay.
And if it's gone, make sure you have them order it.
Yeah,
wink,
yeah.
wink.
Wink.
Or maybe even have Warner's order some there
Okay,
too.
they have them at Warner's
They
too?
should.
Okay.
They should.
Good.
Yeah, so you can get it on Amazon. You can get it wherever you get great books.
All right. Yeah. I want to keep going with the content here because I think that's really the key is the encouragement and the content. Did you have a particular favorite thing or place or person that you wrote about here? What was the favorite?
So many favorite people. There's a couple right off the top of my head that I can think of. I can think of the one thing that I loved about Thomas Edison.
Okay.
Is that he failed so many times, and he kept going and kept going. And if it were not for his perseverance, we could not see, right?
Right. We wouldn't be having all these electronics, right?
We could not have any of this. So the perseverance, just reminding us that failure is not a bad thing. It is a reason to keep going, actually, till we get it right. Right after that one, I have one of my favorite ones is Horatio Spafford, who has a really tough story. He was a lawyer from Chicago, and he lost everything in the Great Chicago Fire. Mm-hmm. And he was rebuilding his life. He had 4 daughters and his wife, and he sent his 4 daughters and wife across the ocean. And he was gonna catch up with them. He had a little bit of work to do. He was staying behind for a little bit. And he got a telegram that said basically survived alone, and that was from his wife. And his 4 daughters had drowned in a shipwreck. And so he got immediately on another ship, and he wanted to cross the ocean to be with his wife to grieve. And the captain of the next ship shows him basically where the daughters drowned, and just overcome with grief and emotion, he sits down, he writes, "It is well with my soul.
Yeah.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul." I think that goes back to the resilience again of strong hearts.
Yeah, you have the beacon of light, which is Edison, the beacon of faith, Horatio Spafford, and a beacon of hope, which is the Statue of Liberty. Wow.
Give me your poor or you're tired.
Did you not, I mean, were any of these people surprises, or had you known, like, I have no idea who Sarah Josepha Hale is.
Oh, let's say, what number is she at?
91 or 100, page 107, right?
So you're asking for my glasses.
Yeah.
107, okay.
Yeah.
Sarah Josepha Hale. Sarah Josepha Hale wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb.
She
wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb, but that is not actually, I mean, that's what makes her most famous, but her real story is she is the one who kept goading on to Lincoln and anybody who would listen, any politician who would listen. Hey, we need a day of Thanksgiving. We need a day of Thanksgiving. We need to celebrate Thanksgiving. She is the one who pushed Lincoln into finally saying,
how did you find this story? Like, where did you come upon this story? Seriously.
I think it's just stuff that has just like entered that I've picked up on throughout my life. And that really stuck with me, that the person who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb is actually responsible for Thanksgiving. I mean, I know we talk about our first Thanksgiving a lot with the Wampanoag and Plymouth and everything. But what she wanted to do was to celebrate them in this, and we're talking, 100 years later and almost, and so it was just 200 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my math going on in my head.
Well,
anyway, she just the fact that a person who is known for one child's rhyme is actually who we should be, thankful for
the drumstick and
exactly
and the time around
stuffing
and the stuffing,
cranberry sauce.
We mentioned before the break how diverse these 250 great things about America are. I mean, you literally talk about everything from Bill Pickett, who was original, and again, do I know who Bill Pickett is?
No.
I'm not sure I do. What's his deal?
Bill Pickett. He was in like the traveling Western shows.
Okay.
And his claim to fame is bulldogging, which he would jump on the steer and bite them in the lip in order to get them to go where he wanted them to go. Like, it's literally.
This is not Wild Bill Hickok.
No,
this is Bill Pickett.
Bill Pickett.
He was an original.
He was an original. Yeah.
Wow.
And we got lots of originals here.
And of course, just a couple words later, you talk about zip together, and you talk about the zipper.
So that's important because that's actually where I'm from. Actually, I was born in Meadville, and so I like to talk about that one because our first zipper factory was right here in our listening audience.
1917. Wow.
Yep. And my grandmother worked for the Talon Zipper Company. And so when I say a lot of these are near and dear to my heart, they really are. They may look disjointed, but they are not.
It's amazing.
They're very, they're actually more cohesive than I can even explain.
I've seen this since I opened the book originally, The Candy Bomber. I've got to look this one up. 189.
Yeah.
And
he was great.
So what was that deal?
Candy Bomber.
The Candy Bomber was generous is the key word there. You want to read it?
You said
189.
Oh, really?
Go ahead. Or I'm sorry, Shane.
My husband's grandfather was a part of that.
The Candy Bomber?
Yes, the Candy Bomber. So this is a cool story.
Okay.
So this is a gentleman named Gail Halverson from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Why don't you go ahead and read the whole
I'd be happy to read it. Okay. With the Cold War looming, Soviet forces blockaded West Berlin in 1948, starving its citizens to control them. In a massive humanitarian effort, U.S. and British planes flew around the clock for nearly a year, constantly delivering much-needed staples. One of the most endearing moments of the Berlin airlift came when the U.S. pilot Gail Halverson from Salt Lake City, Utah, nicknamed the Candy Bomber, for dropping parachutes of chocolates and gums to children from his plane. Other pilots soon followed suit in this campaign of compassion. And that's when I say generosity over fear turns blockades into bridges. So I think that's such a beautiful story of, this is a person who led other people in the military to have compassion on children who were kind of starved. They were starving. And not only did they give them food, but they gave them extra treats too and gave them joy in their life. And I think that was beautiful, a beautiful story to tell.
We're talking to Marcie Gourley about her book, 250 Great Things About America, Places, People, and Principles Worth Celebrating. As we get to the end of the book, you become much more contemporary, and you're talking about some of our current folks that are really making history. Yep. And so you mentioned Lin-Manuel Miranda at 246, Extraordinary, Brene Brown, 247, Braving, Tony Dungy, a favorite NFL coach, Self-Controlled. And you mentioned Irving Berlin, who gave us White Christmas, right?
He gave us
and
a
Timeless.
lot. Yeah,
he gave us a lot.
Yeah, I kind of went back to that one. That was the one that was kind of out of order.
Yeah.
In
as you're making your way to the end,
and you're probably like, why Irving Berlin right then? But there's a really good reason, and that is just the stories of immigration to this country from people who were looking for freedom, and he was just kind of the quintessential 20th century person who not only came over here but became famous, and he was so talented, just so talented. And
I never knew this story, that he was a 5-year-old immigrant.
He was a 5-year-old immigrant.
Original name, Israel Berlin.
Israel Berlin.
Bylan, yeah. Wow. And again, all that incredible music. It's poignant, isn't it?
It's poignant. It can be a little heart-wrenching sometimes if you really stop to think about, heart-wrenchingly beautiful. Maybe I'll put it that way, because this really is a cohesive story, chapter after chapter of our history that is a part of all of us. So.
Have you seen any of the coverage of the World Cup yet? As far as it's not so much the soccer, but the people, these massive folks coming from all over the world, and they're experiencing North America, whether it's Canada or
for
the U.S.
For the first time, and they're like, this is so vast a country. Like, we never realized how much was here. We didn't know how beautiful this was. We didn't know, people drive an hour and a half to work.
We didn't know what was available in a Costco.
We didn't know exactly.
I mean, they're flipping out over Walmart.
Absolutely, as they should, because we have great things here in America.
Yeah. Why do we get cynical and push back against that?
Do we get spoiled? Do we get bored? I think if coming from a mental health perspective, I would say a lot of it is a little bit spoiled and bored, and we forget that these things that we have at our disposal, that other people do not have them, and we get so used to it that we have an expectation for more and an expectation for more and more.
I think back to, very, very up and coming time for Erie was 100 years ago, right?
Yes.
We had just gotten the GE plant, and we were kind of the promised land.
We were the promised land
before the Depression. We were a go-go city, right? And 1930, we were larger than Miami, believe it or not, in population. Right. So, but you think about how hard life was. The idea of a refrigerator was kind of a new concept.
And I talk about the Carrier air conditioner, and there is really the only reason why Miami can have gotten bigger than Erie.
You're exactly right.
Right.
But you think about how hard life was in 1926.
That's rough. Yeah.
And you fast forward to now, where we have the computing power of a massive IBM heavy metal computer from 40 years ago in our hands,
and just everywhere we go,
and instant information anywhere where we want
it.
And now we're able to ask AI to figure stuff out we've just become bored and jaded and forgotten the blessing.
And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to remembering the grace given to us, the beauty given to us, and even each other that was given to, we've been given each other.
Yeah. Let's go to number 250. Tell me why that's important, that word.
250 is the Great Seal, I believe. Let me just make sure I'm not telling
right.
you stories, right? But the Great Seal. When America's founders inscribed E Pluribus Unum, which means out of many one, on the Great Seal in 1782, they were proclaiming a vision. People of different backgrounds, faiths, and traditions could forge a single nation woven stronger together than apart. So what is E Pluribus Unum in action? From 13 colonies joining hands in daring experiment to Americans of every background rushing to help one another on the Hudson's icy banks, E Pluribus Unum reminds us that our greatest strength has always risen from the many choosing to stand as one. Whether stitching a fractured nation back together after the Civil War, or building ramps, lifts, and expanding access under the Americans with Disabilities Act, America has shown again and again that E pluribus unum is not just a motto, it is a mission. And from immigrants who arrived at Ellis Island with only hope in their pockets to innovators launching the shuttle skyward, the American song continues to echo one truth. Out of many dreamers, one future is continually composed. God bless America, land that I love.
That is a fitting close, isn't it? What do you want people to leave with if they buy your book? What do you want them to hold on to?
I want them to hold on to that they are not alone. They are not an island. We are all one. We have this history, even no matter what nationality you're from, you ended up here, and now we are one, and we need to make sure that every generation, we are responsible to teach the next generation that freedom is not free. Mm-hmm. And we need to be always vigilant that we remain free.
You mentioned in the author's note that the 250 stories are my offering, lanterns set upon a path that leads us back to remembrance. Mm-hmm. Why are these lanterns important, do you think?
I see it as sometimes we feel the darkness of the social media or people's grumblings or even our own grumblings, and we need to remember the light that is guiding us towards a beautiful life, a beautiful life that we have before us. It's our choice to keep us free.
Are you getting excited about the 4th of July?
I'm excited about the 4th of July. I am. I was just in this weekend. I was just in Winchester, Virginia. I wasn't planning on going there. I ended up there off chance, and I went into a store, and I came out of a store, and down the street, just all of a sudden, didn't know this was happening. They were celebrating 250th anniversary, and I got to meet some daughters of the American Revolution, sons of the American Revolution. It was really, really cool, and I'm so glad God led me there. Like at the last minute, I don't even know how I ended up there, but I ended up there, and it was beautiful. And that's happening all across the country right now in all of the cities, all of the towns. So I encourage everybody to get together and celebrate each other and celebrate our history.
That's what I kind of love about this, is that every town, every city, every community is kind of doing their thing. We're going to have our Niagara back, and of course, amazing fireworks display. Yeah. Marcie Gourley, 250 great things about America, places, people, and principles worth celebrating. Available on Amazon, available Barnes & Noble and Werner's here in town. And congratulations on the book.
Thank you. It's my
Thanks
pleasure.
for sharing it with us and reading and celebrating with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. It is coming up on 7 in front of the hour.